Well, Phantom of the Opera just had an anniversary. How many of you guys stayed home on a Saturday night and decided to celebrate by singing your favorite tunes from it? Not everyone could make it to the celebration. Catch you in a moment.
Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
So, howdy. Hope everyone's been having a good week. Um, it's raining here. Well, not here because I'm indoors and that would be really bad. Even though we do have a little spot that has a leak. So, I guess somewhere it is raining here. Well, it's here adjacent. But it's not even actually raining here. So, I just opened with a whole bunch of yeah. But it's being rainy here, which in most places in the country, rain is like rain. Here, rain is a lot of times drizzle. But the soil here doesn't absorb any water, or at least it can't absorb it quickly. So even just a little bit of rain causes flooding. Fortunately, my house is uphill just slightly, so we become a little island when it rains. But that doesn't change the fact that outside it's all gray and actually not too cold. I think it's a warm front, even though they don't really seem to use those terms or anything anymore on the news. But now we're going to stop saying the word but after that one. So, that's an improvement over but. Okay. Um, Sometimes I just make myself laugh. As I said, Phantom of the Opera apparently had some sort of anniversary. Be honest, I don't know. I don't care. It's not my favorite opera, or not my favorite musical. The first half is a whole bunch of stuff that I wish I never had to sit through, and the second half is the good stuff that everyone always forgets about. Second half is where things actually happen, as compared to the first half, which is 2 hours of nothing but singing and setting shit up. Yay. And it's Stockholm syndrome set to music. I don't know how come people find it to be really romantic. And it's like, oh, I fell in love with my captor. How romantic. He's only a psychotic murderer. Phantom of the opera. La 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 la. I'll have his baby in the next musical. So, I'm more of a Sweeney Todd type of guy, or even possibly well, not even possibly. I'm more of a um um Toxic Avenger the musical type of guy, which if you haven't heard the music to that, go for it. Even if for some reason you're not able to get into the kind of bad that is Trauma, Toxic Avenger the musical is a whole other thing. It's just more campy corny rather than the deliberate bad. So go for it. Um, this is my catch up week. I've decided that this is going to be, at least for a little while, going to be the trend. One week is going to be the short podcast. The next week is going to be the long podcast. And I do want to address that a little bit because I did get a little bit of questions on that regarding the length of the podcasts. The trick is that the people who commented on the length of the podcast are the ones who are watching it on YouTube, which most people are watching it on YouTube. I am generating this podcast thinking in terms of what I would listen to while at work. So I'm not thinking in terms of video, I'm thinking in terms of the audio. And a lot of audio podcasts run an hour. I mean, I have some that I listen to on a regular basis that run like 2 hours long or more. I didn't even really think about the fact that when you're sitting there watching a video podcast, that anything longer than half an hour actually is a bit inconvenient. So I need to figure out a solution for that. I think I have an idea. We'll try it out on the next podcast. But bear with me. Like I said, even though I do try to put a lot of post-production type, ooh, look at me sounding all technical and stuff. Post-production, ooh. I do try to put a lot of post-production and try to make the visuals look good and interesting for those who are watching the podcast on YouTube, and I thank you all for it because we've been slowly but surely gaining every week. At the same time, when I'm making this, I am thinking in terms of audio. And audio, it's not really that long. Unless you just find me tedious and long-winded to listen to, in which case, welcome to everybody who knows me's life. So, without any further ado, I don't even know why I said that, but, so disregard that ado. What do I got going this week? We got still Comic-Con, still Phoenix Comic-Con, looking for moderators. They actually even put out the word on Facebook. I think it's up and being asked for on the Facebook website, on the Facebook website, and on the real internet website. That would be www.phoenixcomiccon.com. PHOENIXCOMICON.com. If you're bashful, don't worry. You don't necessarily have to be up on stage and in front of people. We need people to also help us with the rooms, okay? So, but we need a good, strong moderator team. We're just looking for where to place you. So show up, I believe next weekend, next Saturday, as a matter of fact. We're going to be doing the castings, so show up next Saturday. Go to the website, check out the Facebook page for Phoenix Comic-Con. It'll have all the details for when and where. But show up, we'll find a spot for you, and you will be part of the proud crew of volunteers for Phoenix Comic-Con. That's the quick little bloop on Phoenix Comic-Con. Hope to see you all there. And even if you're not going to be volunteering, still hope to see you there. Hunt me down, say hey. I know a couple of you are planning on doing cosplay, so... Oh, my beard is lopsided. Okay, so... What else has popped up? Oh, American Horror Story ended this week. So we finally came to the end of this train wreck of a season. And I have to say that if this were the first season... If this had been my first experience to American Horror Story, you wouldn't catch me watching it ever again. First season was pretty good. It relied a little bit too much on sex to take the place of actual storytelling, but that's fine. A lot of things have a gimmick. Don't worry, sex, violence, that's common. This season, instead of telling a ghost story, they decided to tell an alien story. No, it's actually going to be a psycho killer story. No, it's going to be a demonic possession story. Nope, it's Nazis making mutants story. No. They couldn't make up their mind what story they were telling. Okay? Which, at first, I thought was a sign of an absolutely horrid season, but then I found myself being more and more drawn to it every week, just to see, okay, what sort of crazy are they throwing at us this week? How much crazy can they throw at us? Okay, we already got like demon-possessed nuns trying to seduce Nazis who may or may not have imprisoned Anne Frank into this asylum where a psycho killer is posing as a as a psychiatrist treating a guy who may or may not have had his wife abducted by aliens, but he's being accused of killing her. Oh, and the Nazi, like I said, is busy making mutants. All right, let's see where this is going. It went nowhere. Okay, they got rid of the Nazi and the demon possession pretty much in the exact same episode without actually it meaning anything towards the end of the season. They just got rid of it. Then let's see, what did it? The aliens kind of petered out, even though they showed up at the end episode, kind of, but we're not actually going to talk about them because we realized that the majority of people who watched this show hated the alien storyline, which left us with a serial killer who was killed 2 episodes before the end of the season, and his son was picking up the pace. And really, it was only a 13 episode season. The 12th episode really ended the season. The 13th episode was kind of like the cleaning of the Shire. It was a whole bunch of pages that went on and on to clean up a whole bunch of little loose ends that nobody really cared about and didn't actually answer anything. Okay, you could have ended it on episode 12. The story was done. I mean, yeah, we still had the whole issue with the son of the serial killer, which could have been addressed in episode 12 instead of just kind of giving us a throwaway story regarding him in that episode. How the whole thing ended, absolutely no surprise. Nothing resembling a surprise. I know some people were shocked that the reporter who was in it ended up killing her own son, the psycho killer, because she had the previous psycho killer's baby. It's not a convoluted nonsense piece of shit plot. No, these are talented writers who absolutely know how to write horror. Her killing him wasn't surprising at all. The moment that she talked him out of shooting her point blank, I knew, okay, she's killing him. That's how this is ended. No surprise. And there wasn't. American Horror Story has a lot to do next season to not be a piece of crap. That's all there is to say. There's a lot of people trying to figure out and that's another thing. He seemed to be more involved in the last couple episodes in laying clues for what the next season is going to be than actually making this season end well with everything that he promised us up to this point. So now we have next season is possibly going to be taking place in 3 different cities. A lot of people are thinking the clues are leading to it being witchcraft and maybe politics, possibly happening someplace. Washington D.C. and New Orleans might be 2 of the 3 places, and a return to the love story. Okay, just keep it simple, witchcraft. That's my advice to you, Mr. Gleetastic. Keep it to the simple witchcraft. You don't know how to meld different types of storylines together. Don't do it. Stick with one type of storyline, master that craft, then you can work on trying to mash things together, okay? But work at one at a time. Found out in not really related TV news, but in other TV type news, I found out that Wonder Woman is still scheduled to be made into a TV show that we may be seeing by the end of 2013. But the working title is now called Amazon, and it involves what they're thinking, because no one really knows for sure what this is going to be. What they're thinking is that it's going to be a bit more Smallville-ish. It's going to be early in her career, her adapting to being in man's world. It might all take place on Themyscira, Paradise Island, for those of you who are accustomed to Linda Carter. And that would be fine if a lot of it is Themyscira, but I really think that they should do the other idea where she is starting her mission in man's world. possibly doesn't even have her costume or anything. She has their tools, but not necessarily her costume. And that adapting plus, and because that type of adapting would involve her still having to talk to her mother and her sisters back in Themyscira, and we could do both types of storylines because she is a very complicated character. She's arguably one of the most complicated characters in comic books. Batman, straightforward character. He's just an angry guy with parent issues. Then we have Superman, who more complicated, a god who wants to be a man, who's trying to save humanity for its own good, or for And then we have Wonder Woman, much more complicated, princess, consorts with gods, possibly is the daughter of a god. If you go by the new origin, she's a demigod. Superhero, diplomat, a messenger of peace who was trained as a warrior. We're dealing with mythos, we're dealing with politics, we're dealing with society, we're dealing with supervillains. I still say that if you want to, DC has always had issues with trying to get her comic book to sell, and I think that if they really want to fix it, do the daring thing, actually give her a second comic book, because that's the problem. You can't address everything that makes her her in just one issue a month. Okay, you need to give her some room to spread out so that we can actually get into the entire mythology that is Wonder Woman. And that's how come back to my original story. If they are doing a Wonder Woman thing, I hope they are going to do it as her starting out as a hero, and then keep balancing back and forth between Man's World and Themyscira. That would be a fascinating show. And I'm fine with them not dealing with the costume for a while. The costume is a very controversial, hard thing to deal with in reality. It's even kind of hard to deal with in comic books. I still keep on saying they need to get rid of the panties and give her a skirt. That solves the whole body thing. Okay, it's a breastplate with leather armor and a skirt like even Roman warriors wore, like a toga type skirt. Solves the whole thing. But I'm looking forward to that. I'll watch every episode, even if it is a train wreck. Just like I watched every episode of Birds of Prey, which was good. And I looked forward to a second season where it would become something worth being on TV. There was a lot of things right with Birds of Prey. It just didn't. Just didn't. What else came out this week that I heard about? Oh. The announcement of J.J. Abrams doing the Star Wars. That is official. He's going to be doing Star Wars Episode 7. A lot of people are having issues. Some people are actually having issues with the fact that he's doing both Star Trek and Star Wars, which I find to be oddly divisive in the geek community. My issue is I really don't like his Star Trek. I think he petered out and lost his way with Lost, and he ended Lost exactly the way that it obviously was from like the first 8 episodes of the series, and everything after that was a whole bunch of nonsense that finally took us to the last episode that showed us that, oh yeah, they are dead and this is the afterlife, as we thought it was in episode 8. Star Trek, some nice ideas, a little bit too much fanboy tossing shit in there, especially for someone who, if I recall correctly, he stated himself that he wasn't super familiar with Star Trek, and so he had others tossing in the fan stuff for him, and there was a little too much. Okay, for an opening, fine, don't do that every time. Hopefully this next episode will be more of a standalone, not trying to bring in so many fan issues that people like. Although, I did like the fact that Scotty had a pet triple. Visually, I actually don't like how the new Star Trek looks. the outer space stuff. I mean, the Romulan ship and the character, it didn't make much sense. Why would you build a craft that one wrong step you're gonna fall off to oblivion at any moment? Um, the the destruction of Vulcan was odd. The plot was I still don't have a firm grasp on what he was thinking he was accomplishing, what the villain thought he was accomplishing in the first movie, and then the Enterprise itself, especially the bridge of the Enterprise. Oh, okay. Any of you who watched Space 1999, especially the first season, you got to see a whole bunch of white rooms because it was all nice and pristine and kind of in the wake of 2001, and everything was clean and white and stark and futuristic. It was interesting. J.J. Abrams proved that you can take that too far. The Enterprise bridge sucks. It is not just clean and pristine, it is actually virtually glowing to the point of being an eyesore. And then there's all those light flares that pop up everywhere that he deliberately put in there. Things that a good director would actually take out and fix in post. He deliberately put in there because he thought that was what the future should look like. Like, periodically you're going to turn the wrong direction and get blinded by a random light and therefore make yourself defenseless to a Klingon attack. I guarantee you Klingon ships don't have those light flares. And the Klingons are probably kicking some major Federation butt in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek universe. All for that. That said, getting back to the Star Wars revelation, what harm could he do? Did you actually watch those last 3 movies? Okay, chapters 1, 2, and 3 sucked. Okay, actually, chapter Return of the Jedi, that's the name of it. Return of the Jedi sucked. And chapters 1, 2, and 3 made that Return of the Jedi look really, really good. There is no harm that J.J. Abrams can do to this franchise. Okay? There's nothing. He could replace everybody with sock puppets and just have them all singing every number in the thing like as lame is, and it would still be an improvement. We'd still be moving in the right direction away from the crap that Lucas turned it into. So, that said, yay, J.J. Abrams is on Star Wars. Hopefully that'll become his main thing, and after this next Star Trek movie, he'll be done. Not anything against it. I haven't seen the next Star Trek movie. Everyone says it's great. But at the same time, let's quickly get this into the hands of someone with a different design aesthetic so we're not constantly being blinded on the bridge of the Enterprise. Speaking of other people who need to go away, it is time for Moffat to retire from Doctor Who as well. This show is starting to become the kids show that it used to be in the 1970s. The Snowman episode, I don't know how they could start dragging that whole Doctor Who joke any further into the ground. It was painful to watch. The TARDIS in the clouds was poetic and pointless. Everything was about imagery and virtually nothing was about substance. And everybody's all excited about this new companion that he's going to be having, who I can't even remember her name. She appeared originally as an insane Dalek. She appeared previously in the show as an insane Dalek who thought he was a cute little perky girl. Loved that character. Now that she actually is a cute little perky girl who apparently is going to just keep dying and coming back, well, we got rid of Amy and Rory, so we don't need perky and we don't need dying and coming back all the time anymore. You're not giving us anything new with this character. The only thing that's going to make this one work is if for some reason she's tied into whatever the big deal is going to be for the 50th anniversary, which they better start pulling in some past doctors, and I mean original doctors. Okay, Sylvester McCoy is still out there. He's traipsing around with hobbits right now. I'm sure he's available to put back on his Doctor Who outfit. Like, start bringing some of those guys in. Tidy up everything so that we have a big 50th anniversary celebration, and then you just get rid of her and we can move on to like some real storylines and a real companion. Has everybody been doing their homework? Remember last time I made a comment about Andre Norton, how we all should try to become more familiar with her, and I knew I was not as familiar with her as I wanted to be, and so I actually have read one of her books already. It's one of her early ones, so it is very much in the pulp vein. It's very pulpy. I want to dig into one of her later works, so that can start getting the more polished author who stepped away from the pulp. But the one I read was even so early that it's back when she was writing as, instead of Andre Norton, she was writing as Andrew North, so that a female could get published more easily in the science fiction era. So hope everyone is finding something. There is plenty of free stuff out there on Amazon for the Nook. I'm sure there is on Barnes and Noble for the, or sorry, on Barnes and Noble for the Nook. I'm sure there is. I know there is on Amazon for the Kindle. There's also websites all over the place that have free stuff of hers out there. I say hunt it down. It's good. Her stuff is good. Okay. Like I said, if you get early, hopefully you enjoy pulp. You enjoy those early, like, rollicking romps, and because that's what you're going to get. Other than that, dig it up. We're going to, hopefully I will get some feedback on this next week when people, like, tell me what they think of what she wrote. Oh, what was that coughing? Okay, I don't know what that coughing was. Doesn't matter. Oh, my diet. The diet. We've kind of started the diet, haven't lost a single pound. Not a single one yet. But then again, it's only been a week. And saying that you're starting the diet is kind of a bit of a misnomer, because it started with just changing my diet at this moment. We've been doing the vegetables Monday through Friday, and I have noticed a change in that. Okay, I feel more energetic. Makes me really appreciate getting a hamburger on the weekends. Also had a horrible bout of gas on Friday, which that was unpleasant. But that was a whole week of nothing but vegetables. And, those last 2 days I was doing some hardcore roughage, so it had to come out somewhere. But we're making progress. Hopefully, we will start, if we continue down this road, we will start actually losing weight, and then, yay! It would be really nice to be back down to a natural, not a tight 36, in time for Comic-Con. That'd be great. Or possibly even, back to a 34, which would just be insane. I can't imagine being back to a 34, to be totally honest. I'll be happy with a 36. If anyone else is joining me on this, let me know. Misery loves company and also loves good ideas. So, fortunately, the 99-cent store has a lot of good fresh produce, so can dig into lots of produce there and just get myself all vegged out and get myself good snacks to eat while at work too, because a lot my day is spent at a desk all day long, just doing electronic filing. So I need good healthy snacks that aren't gonna pack it on for me. Speaking of my work being at a desk all day long, doing electronic filing. I'm serious. The other day I spent about 6 hours of my shift listening to podcasts. I really do get a good solid chunk of podcast listening in. So I thank Michelle especially for her recommendations for a couple good podcasts out there. I gave some of them a try. I definitely am enjoying the Dead Authors, Thrilling Adventure Time. Michelle, if you enjoy Dead Authors, listen to Thrilling Adventure Time. The Beyond Belief is my absolute favorite. My favorite line from that, it involves a couple who see, or what is it? They see dead people or something like that, and they're rich and they're drunk, and somehow they end up investigating supernatural crimes or whatever. My favorite one was um, when the wife was going to Rosemary's baby shower, and the vampire that was about ready to have a baby was visited by a Nosferatu, and she had to have that pointed out. It's a Nosferatu. Oh, does that mean... Is that what I think it is? What do you think it is? A Scrabble rack played by... Oh, I really messed that up. But the punchline was a leftover Scrabble rack played as a bluff. It's much funnier when she says it, because she doesn't mess it up. All those episodes are great. The Christmas one is possibly the best take on a Christmas, not a Christmas Story, Scrooge, whatever that one is that has Scrooge in it. Probably the best take on that I've ever heard, including the original. I absolutely love their version of it. Although you need to be familiar with the original to get why it's so great. But still sad about the lack of a good mathematics podcast out there, and I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe someone needs to take care of that. Maybe someone needs to make a good mathematics podcast, something that people will listen to even if they're not into mathematics, and they'll just incidentally be getting mathematics tossed at them. Still working on how that would work. I have a couple characters in mind, Princess Sakatoa and Detective Maddie Maddox. Maddie Maddox? Okay, it sounds like a better pun for me than it does in real life, but I don't care. I'm sticking with it. Maybe Matt Maddox? Ooh, Matt Maddox. Forget the Maddie. Detective Matt Maddox. And Dr. Mobius, who helps him out with things. Dr. Mobius drives a Taurus that he keeps on confusing for a cup of coffee, which is much funnier if you actually know anything about mathematics, especially topology. But that is a plan for somewhere down the line. Somewhere down the line, we still got to get this thing all ironed out. And I thank you all for your patience with me. Still looking for recommendations on other podcasts to listen to. Patrick at Scream Queens is taking some time off, so that's all sad. And Scott at Seder Sphere is taking his own sweet time to get his podcasts out. Curse you. So I need stuff. Any recommendations? Also, let me know what's going on with this one. Really still looking for input here. Still at the point where I need to kind of know what's working, what's not working. Especially the what's working part, because I'm horribly self-conscious about what's not working. And I know that my opening theme is horrible, and until I figure out a better theme, it's probably what you're going to be stuck with, or at least until someone guesses what the source of the theme music is. Also was informed that the music is a little bit long, so we're going to try to work on that, and the volume. I thought I had the volume on the music solved, but it wasn't. It should be taken care of for this episode, and then the next one is going to be the real trial, but we'll see how that goes. So that's basically just catching up on everything here. Like I said, this is the short one. This is going to be the filler episode that you get every other week. Seems almost a shame to actually give it an episode number, but I'm going to give it an episode number. I'm going to count these. Thank you all for listening / watching. We've actually had more viewers / listeners this week than any other, and actually last week's went up quite a bit too. So that was nice. Tell your friends, tell people that you don't like in case you think it's bad. I don't know. Trying to get those numbers up. If you do have a chance to listen to podcasts at work, really do try to listen to the podcast. It makes the longer ones, you'll notice that they don't seem anywhere near as long. Okay, they seem like a normal podcast when you're listening to them. That's at my website at Libsyn. Of course, you can always watch these on YouTube also. A couple more weeks, and I'm already looking into seeing how to get these things up on iTunes, which might be a brutal thing. So hopefully I will get better fast. I'll be honest, I actually kind of liked last week's episode, and hope everyone is enjoying this one. Hope everyone is enjoying their week. I look forward to hearing from everyone next week. Remember, we're going to be talking about horror. Have a couple ideas there. And also next month, in honor of it being Black History Month, I'm hoping to cover a couple topics of African American genre stuff. Getting a couple ideas together there. Any ideas that you want to toss at me, that's a great idea. Or that overusing the word idea. That'll be a great help as well. Again, go read Jenny Koch's books. Give Bitsy Mama some love out in Glendale. They serve excellent Mexican food. If you are looking for a good cause, don't forget about Joshua Tree Feeding Program. They help people with HIV/AIDS get food boxes. Their website is www.jtfp.org. Don't forget, if you're looking for comic books, give it up to Samurai Comics, who just they just introduced a gay and lesbian and trans LGBT, that whole alphabet soup of letters section, where they have comics that feature those characters. Love you guys. Now let's see you guys at Margot. Get your my mouth stopped working. Margot, out in Tempe. Let's see if you can step it up. Give us a little gay lesbian love. And Drawn to Comics in Glendale. See if you can too. Mike has already upped you. He's put it out there. So those other two guys, if you get a chance and you're near there, stop by. Great stores, but again, definitely give Samurai Comics some love. And in February there will be a book sale. If you're in Phoenix, a huge used book sale down at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Next week I'll give you more details on the dates, but it is the VSN volunteer VNS. Why can I not remember what the letters are? But it's a huge one. They have it every year. It's I always say it's the weekend closest to Valentine's Day, but given how the holiday falls this week, or this year, I'm not sure. So look for that. You can find a lot of great deals there. Now it's time for us to have some closing music. This week it's going to be a little bit of Kirby Crackle. Met those guys 2 years ago at Phoenix Comic Con. Nice guys. Enjoy their stuff. Hopefully get to see them at a con again soon. And without any further... I was going to say adieu. See, I caught myself. Aha! Have a good day. Have a good week. Catch you guys next Sunday with the Horror Podcast. Hope to hear from you. Bye.
I hope you've got a healthcare plan, and if you don't, I understand. But I got a question for ya. Does your hideout have a covered lot? And here's the hours I'm looking for: a part-time shift from noon to 4, but not on Tuesdays, 'cause that's when I dungeon master for my friends. Do I qualify for this? Well, let me tell you what you've missed. I fired lasers from a sub. One year I blew a whole bridge up. I spent a month up on the moon, raised in rank beyond a goon. I could have gone much higher, except for the fact my boss was burned up. Live by man shooting at me from his hand. I saw my child go up in a flame, and it's a shame. I'm curious what you play, and I could start today. Have faith in what's inside, like cringe turning into battle cat. So here I am again, and with this leaky pen I summarize my skill set, realize my path in life is sad. I'll always be a henchman. You ask me what it is I do. If I saw someone steal from you, I'd stab him in his back and take it for myself. Of course, you see, I know that's what you'd want to hear. So drop a line to send your fear. This doctor hatred in your 5, he'll eat your bill alive. So you better call now, for he has on the ground upon the troglodytes in their cave. He's got a full plate, it's there for 01k. And dental would be great, joints disconnect like Voltron. I got bum knees, not lines to stand on. So here I am again. I love the feng shui in this den. I've worked for Psycho Possum. Compared to his, your place is awesome. Oh, I'll always be a henchman. Other guys have weeks, vacations. I work for dudes with lacerations on their faces. These people, they have aspirations. They want to rule a private nation. When the screws you have are loose, what else you gonna do? Appreciate your time today. There's not much more to say. Hope I'm what you're looking for, though. You'll find I'm handy just like Panthro. Oh, I'll always be a henchman.